GST, though it is a one nation, one tax, the government is marketed as a one nation, one tax, we need to understand that each state has their own GST Act as well. So therefore, the Act, that is the law which governs the GST, the Goods and Service Tax, is the CGST Act 2017, that is Central Goods and Service Tax Act 2017. And the respective SGST acts are there for all the states in the country. And of course, the union territories will have the UTGST Act, that is UTGST Act 2017. So therefore, we will have a CGST Act 2017, and all the states and union territories will have their respective legislations or respective acts. So whatever is there in the CGST Act 2017, the same sections will be there in the respective acts of the state. So now, whenever a GST is collected on a particular supply, all of you must be seeing the respective invoice. Whenever you go and purchase something in the market, whenever you get an invoice, the invoice will mention CGST and an SGST as well. That is, if it is within the state. Let us take an example of a stationery product. A stationery product, something like a pen. You go and purchase that particular pen from a shop. He gives you an invoice. He mentions the value of the pen and he adds CGST and SGST to that. The total rate of tax which is applicable to the pen will be 18%, or there are different rates applicable for different products. Similarly, CGST will be 9% and SGST will be 9%. So what is CGST? It is the Central Goods and Service Tax which goes to the central government, and SGST is the State Goods and Service Tax which goes to the state government. That is why on your invoice you see both the CGST and SGST. This occurs whenever there is a local sale. When in one particular state, that is in, for example, in Hyderabad, Telangana, you go and purchase something. The CGST and SGST means the SGST is the Telangana State Goods and Service Tax. So what happens when there is an interstate sale? What happens when there is an import of good? You import the good from outside the country. What happens in that particular case? What happens if you stay in Telangana and you purchase a product from outside Telangana? Say, example, you purchase a product from Karnataka. What happens then? In that case, the government says that an integrated GST, that is IGST, Integrated Goods and Service Tax, will be applicable on such particular supply of goods or services. So therefore, if you procure something from outside the state, the person who is supplying the product, in his invoice, he will mention the IGST if the place of supply is in Karnataka and you are located in Telangana. Of course, there are multiple complexities here. It is not so easy as it sounds. Once we go to the place of supply, we shall cover when IGST will be levied and when the CGST or SGST will be applicable. So therefore, what we have gained to understand now is, even though GST is one nation, one tax, you have three different types of GST which is charged. One is Central Goods and Service Tax, State Goods and Service Tax, and Integrated Goods and Service Tax on interstate supply of goods or services. That is the supply of goods and services between two different states. Hope things are clear. Section 2, in all the laws, it can be income tax law, it can be any law for that matter. Section 2 of the respective law always talks about the definitions. Now, there are multiple definitions there in GST as well, wherein covering the various concepts which are used in the respective law and the respective act. We shall look at only the main important definitions as of now, which are critical for our understanding of the respective law. You can have the access to all the definitions which are given. The presentation will have everything. So we shall only look at the important definitions which are useful for us to gain a critical understanding of the respective GST.